everyone can see this? We're good?
Yes, Maya.
Okay. All right, so my name is Maya Chande. I am a freshman here at Princeton, and I'm pursuing a degree in mathematics as well as applied and computational mathematics. So I'm interested sort of in the intersections of math and physics. Right, so I think, yeah, like I said before, Pranav did a really wonderful job kind of thinking about the theory and the abstract ideas behind college admissions and how to go about it in a way that benefits you the most. And I think and keeping those thoughts in mind, I think I'll talk more about Princeton as a school, why I chose it, why I thought it was a good fit for me, and why it might be a good fit for you, and maybe focus more on sort of what's behind those universities that get ranked very highly, and maybe why it is worth going to a place like this in the modern age rather than just based on its old reputation. Right, so applying to Princeton is indeed a big decision. It's an investment of your time and money and efforts, things that are very finite in your senior year of high school, when you have classes and want to enjoy your life and all of these other things on your plate. So here are some things that I considered when I applied, and there's probably additional things that are important to you as well, but this sort of list is for you to kind of personalize based on what matters to you. Right, so things I considered, right, college life was definitely one, I think that was emphasized before as well. So sort of the vibe you get from campus, like how social you want your life to be, how academically focused. Here at Princeton, everything is very academically focused, and I'll be sort of lucky if I get a nice weekend to enjoy with friends, but that's sort of how I like it. Like I enjoy immersing myself in academic sort of things, but yeah. Yeah, sorry. Okay, right. So yeah, and I think this is an important thing to consider because this is a big factor that sort of influences like if you will be mentally well while you're at college, whether you'll be sort of what sort of mood you'll be in, and being in a good mental state is sort of a prerequisite on doing well academically and reaching your goals and everything like this. So making sure college life and that sort of aspect of things is fitting for you at a particular place is incredibly important. Right, so potential careers is also another thing that I considered. So Princeton is very theoretical in its academic preparation. So most of the classes you'll take will have a lot of theory, which tends to make things more difficult. But if you, I guess, want to be like an engineer or something, right? And you don't see yourself ever working in research, you don't want to teach, you don't want to really be in academia, then maybe Princeton is not the best engineering school to go to. You could probably end up somewhere like Georgia Tech where the classes are more application-based, and I guess you get more experience with things like job interviews and just more experience that's relevant to where you want to be. On the other hand, I guess for me, I'm very interested in going into academia. Research and teaching and that sort of thing has always sort of been what I want to do. So Princeton sort of seemed like a good fit there because our faculty is pretty amazing and tend to be at the top of their field. So it's incredible to be able to make connections with people like that during your undergrad. Right, so another thing is just areas you're interested in studying, whether there's particular faculty in that department that you're very keen on meeting or learning from, or you know, if there's just particular strengths of certain programs at a college that you're going to, then that may be a good factor that would convince you to go there and might make that a good fit for you, right? So for me, it was math. Our math department here at Princeton is kind of insane. So it's just incredible being taught by like these crazy people. And yeah, so I think this was like one of the biggest factors for choosing Princeton over other places that may have been more cost effective or may have been, I guess, easier, quicker, like maybe I would have more of a social life and things like this, but I guess this is sort of the decision that I made, and of course this is individual. Right, and then I sort of hinted at it there, financial matters. This is a big thing, particularly when applying to the Ivy League. We tend to have like generous financial aid here at Princeton. But again, this is a very like individual situation, one that is important and should definitely be considered. And again, I put et cetera here because there's probably many different factors that may matter to you in addition to this, that you should definitely sort of list out concretely and definitely consider in a very concrete form. Right, so I guess in terms of college applications, it's very difficult to, give you like a recipe in some sense of like, okay, this is what's going to get you in, focus on these things. It really doesn't work that way. It's holistic. It considers every part of you and whether you will be a good fit for that university. And so college admissions officers have this sort of nuanced sense of what makes an applicant fit for a university, and that may be things that you just can't write down on paper. So, but here are some factors that I think could definitely help you in a place like Princeton if you want to do well in Princeton and want to sort of be imbued with the sort of ideals that Princeton holds. So academic excellence is definitely one. Demonstrating that you are willing to take challenging classes in areas that you're interested in is very important. So whether that be AP, IB, research you do outside of school, various ways that you could show that you're genuinely interested in a certain area that you want to pursue. Right, and so the essays are also an important way to sort of show your ability to communicate yourself and your passions. And this is just a very good like life skill in general. And I think one that Princeton enjoys testing. Their supplemental essays are generally very fun to do and make you think about yourself in interesting ways. So essays are definitely a place to be creative, but not so creative that you sacrifice the message that you're trying to send about yourself. Right. Okay, and then extracurriculars. So these are, again, just like avenues to explore your passions, explore what you're interested in, and they sort of just want to see you exploring and being a curious human being who enjoys learning about the world in whatever lens that you might enjoy doing so, right? So I guess through my explanations of these first three bullets, I've kind of been underscoring this idea of intellectual curiosity. So genuinely being interested in some area, whatever it might be, and wanting to understand it at a very deep level, or having like a problem in your head, like, okay, if you're very interested in sort of public policy problem of some level, or sustainability or things like this, if you're very passionate about something like this or have an intellectual driving force, show that in your application. And I think emphasizing this, if it's genuine, can definitely help with applications to somewhere like Princeton, which is a place where there's so many ways to sort of like cultivate these passions and interests that you might have. Yeah, so I guess these are sort of more general things, and I don't know, again, college admissions is a very like holistic and not explicit process. So again, I can't give you a general recipe for, what will work, what will get you into Princeton, but all I could really tell you is my own experience. Not for you to be like, okay, this is exactly what I need to do, but for you to be more like, yes, this is sort of the rationale of me pursuing things that I'm interested in, and this is the extent to which I might do this, or what I'm getting at is, yes, don't copy this. This is not a recipe. This is rather a way to show you my thinking and how I pursued my passions, and maybe give you a sort of guide on how you could do the same. Right. So I applied restrictive early action, again, because I was very interested in mathematics. Princeton kind of was like the first option because of the faculty there and the research opportunities. So it was kind of the first on my list there. And so I applied Princeton and then Georgia Tech. Tips in general about the application process: think about your essays early. Don't stress yourself out with things this important. Definitely give yourself time to ruminate over your ideas. Make sure you're conveying yourself in the best way possible. Go through several iterations of essay ideas. Go through the whole process, and definitely like you'll end up settling on something that you're satisfied with. But if you cram yourself into like a week before the deadline, you're probably not setting yourself up to make the most of the situation that you have. Right. And so then you have like grades and SAT scores. These things, I think, come along with just being motivated, being interested in whatever you study, and picking classes that align with your interests. SAT scores tend to be just like a hurdle you have to get over. And I think it was talked about before, but I don't ascribe much importance to it, and neither do universities at this point. Right. So things in my application that I emphasize, I guess, were a combination of service, intellectual curiosity, interdisciplinary interests, and just being myself. I didn't try to paint a picture of myself in a way that I thought was conducive to getting me into Princeton. So I didn't try to make myself someone I wasn't, just to try to get better chances, right? So I guess I highlighted things like research, my interest in like art history and math, and like, so I guess these interdisciplinary things that I guess were important for Princeton because we're such a liberal arts-based curriculum, right? So I guess these are things that I emphasized, but I guess you have your own highlights within your own academic career, that academic and personal career really, but that you could definitely emphasize in your own application. But again, these are just things that sort of stood out to me and sort of also aligned with what Princeton's values sort of are. Right, and I guess I could talk a little bit about my time at Princeton, and one word sort of jumps out at me, and that would be challenging. Like, it's a genuinely challenging environment, and I don't mean this in a negative sense. It's challenging in that it pushes you to be definitely more than you came in as, and so it's generally been one of the like most rewarding years of my life, and I've grown an incredible much from like last March, and I just like am a totally different person. And I think that is what makes a place like Princeton incredibly special. Like the people that you surround yourself with who have like incredible passions and incredible insights in what you want to study, and being able to like, hang out with them on a Friday night eating ice cream, that sort of environment is something that I don't think I would personally find anywhere else in the same way. So, right. But I mean, it has genuinely been a challenge adjusting to the time commitments and just the jump in how rigorous our curriculum is. But that said, again, it's been very rewarding. But the reason I say this is that, yes, people definitely do get caught up in the name of things like, oh, yes, I got into Princeton, or, oh, yes, I get into Harvard. But a lot of times people like genuinely forget that these are real schools. They have real expectations of you, and it's not going to be easy. No matter how well prepared you feel like you are in high school, like it's something that you have to be up for the challenge for. And that's just something I say to you while you're doing your applications, just so that you realize that, okay, I'm not just signing up for a name, I'm signing up for a university, and definitely a place that's going to push me. And if you're applying to Princeton, I hope that push is welcome. Yes, and if you have any other questions about Princeton, feel free to email me, hit me up on Instagram, here's my phone number. Any other questions about math, physics, anything, I will be glad to talk to you.